Hi, this is Emma, and welcome to Esoteric Detective. All around the world, people go missing in national parks all the time, but what the general public don't know is that a percentage of those people that go missing do so in a very strange and sinister way. This small percentage was brought to light by former police detective David Paulides, who started researching these cases and found a sinister, upsetting pattern.
Is nearly here, which means millions of people will be heading for national parks and national forests. As it turns out, a few of them won't be coming back.
Each year, hundreds of people are reported missing in our parks and forests. Most are eventually found, but there's a smaller category of cases that never get solved, including a few close to home. The I-Team's George Knapp is here with the story. George.
It's not a revelation to say that people get lost out in the wilderness or in forest areas. We're talking about a different kind of mystery, though. Disappearances that are not caused by predator attacks or criminals hiding out there in the woods or just bad luck. A former cop has put together hundreds of case files regarding clusters of missing persons in national parks where the circumstances are flat out strange. But don't...
Stay tuned as Esoteric Detective brings you 6 things we know about the clusters of missing people in national parks. Number 6. People go missing from right beside family members in broad daylight. It is like they just vanish. Sometimes the bodies of the individuals are found miles from the location where they went missing. So far, in fact, that it is not possible for them to have got to the location. That is, people are found miles up the sides of mountains, without any clothing on, such distances from where they went missing that they would have needed a helicopter to have got there, in the time frame since their disappearance. To put this into perspective, let's take the case of Cullen Finnerty, who was found dead, under strange circumstances in 2013. Finnerty was a football player who was a giant man who was from the Midwest. The New York Times would eulogize that he was perhaps the most successful quarterback in college football history. At 6'2" and 240 pounds of solid muscle, by all accounts, Finnerty was your all-around tough American guy. He had a character which people said was stoic and strong, and people never saw him afraid of anything. That was until he decided to go fishing alone one day on May the 26th, 2013 in the Baldwin River, deep in the Manistee National Forest Park. Early in the morning of that day, Finnerty's wife received a phone call from him, which was not the stoic and strong man that she knew. Finnerty was frantically telling his wife how he was being followed, and was extremely afraid. During the last call, his wife was able to have him give her the coordinates from his phone. But when friends and family went to the location, he was not there. When the police got involved, Finnerty's cell phone, which had a global positioning system, was traced by the cell phone company to help get a true lock on his position. It is worth noting that margin for error on a GPS transmitter is 50 to 100 feet, but when the cell phone company pinged Finnerty's phone, the coordinates that came back placed his phone in 4 different locations. Although the pings were within minutes of each other, the locations were 4.37 miles apart. Finnerty was later found, miles from the location of where his cell phone said he was, with much of his clothing missing, his fishing spenders around the wrong way, as if he had been undressed and reclothed, and without any footwear. To this day, it is unknown why he was so afraid, and why he was found in such an unusual manner. The official report rules the death as pneumonia, but it neglects the other strange evidence. The fact that Finnerty said he was being followed, the fact he had been undressed, and the fact that his cell phone location put him in 4 places at the same time. Number 5. This is not just happening in the United States, but is happening around the world. In fact, strange events that match the strange clusters of missing people have been found as far afoot as New Zealand and Australia. It is hard to tell the true scale of the people that go missing in the forests in such a strange way, but there are enough countries that match cases and clusters in the United States that there is no doubt that the mystery is global. Number 4. Strange dark storms have something to do with the people going missing. Witnesses describe a dark storm that made them afraid, and sometimes a thick sudden mist. The mist descends and then the people are gone. Those that are found alive often are only people that cannot talk, such as very young children, or people with speech impairments. In another recent video, which will be linked at the end of this one, you can see how a group of lighthouse keepers in the Flanner Islands described a similar storm that made them afraid, in their journal logs, before they went missing. The lighthouse keepers in this case, however, were never found. Number 3. The people often go missing in places that tribal people believe are cursed or evil, and have ancient tribal names to match. And also search dogs cannot find these missing people. When people go missing under these strange circumstances, dogs that search the area turn up nothing. It's like the missing individual's own scent left the area along with them. The search and rescue services also turn up nothing. Then, equally as mysteriously, the people turn up in areas that had already been thoroughly searched. Number 2. The missing are found dead in mysterious, unnatural ways. David Paul Liades describes one account of a boy who was found melted into a fence. That is, melted to a fence like candle wax. There are also descriptions of strange lights in the sky, and reports of UFO activity by those lucky enough to be left as witnesses. Number 1. There is a cover-up, and it involves the government. Evidence for this comes in the form that, regarding the missing person clusters, the United States Park Service will do everything it can not to give out records of any missing people, even to those engaged in investigations with the police. The United States Parks Service seem to guard what is happening like it is a matter of national security. When a government agency is blocking information about those dying in the national parks, it does lead one to believe that there is some kind of cover-up happening, as these records are almost certainly a matter of public interest.
The individual cases are strange enough, Paulides says, but stranger still were the reactions of federal agencies when he asked for public records.
And when we FOIA'd them, we got a response back that they don't keep any lists of missing people.
The response was not only no, but hell no, he says, so he began putting his own list together and discovered what appears to be nearly 30 clusters of disappearances in national parks and forests, cases which meet a narrow set of odd characteristics.
What do you think is happening? And what do you think the Park Service is hiding? Do you think that there is something truly sinister going on, or is this just a case of something that looks strange, because we have so little information? Stay tuned and subscribe to Esoteric Detective to keep up to date with the strange and unusual. And please give a thumbs up if you liked the video. Until next time, if you find yourself in a national park and see a storm coming, maybe you should make sure you are armed, so you don't go gently into that night.